So about independence, Dominion Republic 150. We got 1,400 million people. So you can sell a lot of carb in India. I'm going to read this again. Problem is they don't have the money. They don't have the money to pay all these cars because many have a very low income or no income. You need to have a kind of fixed income from work to make this car loans. And you need to have a house, one place to live before you can get a car loan, I think. But there's many old second-hand cars. I think you get many old cars like $2,000, $2,000 or $3,000, but that's a lot of money in India. If you are a poor family, you don't have like $3,000. Then you can make a saving $200 every month. You can saving up $200 every month, like 1 year. Then you have $2,400. Then you can buy an old car in India. All this young Indian made property, they like the old Mercedes, old German cars, the BMWs, Mercedes, Benz, the Audis. But I start to get tired. But I'm always tired, and tomorrow I'm just tired tomorrow again. So we have the early evening news in 20 minutes. I don't need to watch it because I better like to do this. We have the late evening news, 9 p.m. So that's India. They have a super large car industry. Like all brands from the whole world. They're making this about 6.5 million. So I need to read this. Maruti. So they have a long history in automobile manufacturing. They have a sub 4 meter rule. They have a new tech structure. So they put cars lower 4 meters is qualified for a significant lower exercise duty. Tata Motors. So they make some short cars, but that's what you call micro cars. That's this Toyota Aygo and Peugeot 106, Citroën C1, I think. So they have all of super large auto manufacturing plant all over India, and I think they can just grow like 10 times bigger. They can make a lot more. They have a big this plant all over India. So that's too big. I'm not going to open all this. I'm going to read it later and open not everything, but I'm going to look. When I read this, I'm going to look this. So India is like United States. They have a lot of lot of states, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, that's Punjab, that's part of India, like California, Nevada, Florida, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala. So they have all kind of districts in India. West Bengal. So they're importing a lot. 4.5 billion, but that's numbers old, that's 2009. So they export in cars all over the world. So they export cars, automobiles to United States and Mexico. Why they do Mexico? Mexico have a very large automobile production. Why they export, but maybe they do a car part. I don't know why they're exporting so many cars to Mexico. But they do that. They're exporting a lot of cars to South Africa. But they have all making a lot of cheap cars in India. Probably they like to get these cheap cars in Mexico and South Africa. So I'm not going to open all this because that's a lot of information. So India is one of the biggest auto manufacturing countries, like Japan, United States. I think in 10 or 15 years India will be number 2 in the whole world, behind China. Because they have 1,400 million people, 1,500 million, and Japan only have like 120,000. They have, the population is more than 10,000, 10 times bigger. Indonesia have a large automotive industry. How big, I don't know. They're doing 10% of the GDP. They're 7th largest passengers vehicles producer in the world. They're making about 1 million, close to 1 million. So that's really a lot. So they have all kind of car brands. All kind of car brands is in Indonesia. Low cost green cars next to Toyota. So they make a special low tax small cars, at least 20 kilometers liters. Low cost green cars they have in Indonesia. That's like the micro cars, cheap micro cars we got in Denmark, you use for driving to work. So they have a very large, that's Toyota. So every big brand is there, BMW, Daihatsu, Honda, Hyundai, all the big brands. So I'm going to read this later. So all the big brands is there. I don't know, this ruling. So I'm going to read it later. and Iran in Persia. They have a large country. Actually, let's make this is Iranian car. So they have a very large automobile industry. Says up to 200,000, but that was below this chain. So, but you can find that. Maybe you can find the numbers. They have very large. That's 1 million. They're making more than 1 million, 1.1 million. 1.1 million automobiles. So Iran is one of the biggest automobile manufacturers in the world. I forgot to open my thing. So they are number 15. They use 700,000, 10% of Iran's GDP. So that's 1/10 part of the whole industry or the whole countries. So that's really big. They're number 15 or 20. So now this is 1.6 million there. So this says, but that's number, we are year 2025, this is 2001. They have 13 public, private owned automakers. So they have a lot of automakers. I have this Pecan, I got this open. So they're making like 1.6 million. That's an Iranian car. So they're making modern cars and auto parts and engines. Of course, they need to make millions of engines. They're making millions of auto parts and automobile engines. Import tariff. So Iran got a very large automobile production. Then of course Japan. Japan is number 3 in the world. But I think India will overtake Japan soon. India will be more than India be number 2. China, India. Then Japan and United States will be number 4, I think. Of course, the car sales and the car production will drop in the United States, I think. Because many could have tired of him, President. He's tired of all his tariff. They are tired of this Donald Trump. So they just buy some other cars than Donald Trump cars. They just buy Toyota or some Chinese brand. They just buy BYD. Why they need to buy Tesla? We don't need to buy Tesla. So Japan is second biggest. That's another big long read. So that's one of the world planet's biggest, and Toyota, of course. Toyota is number 1 in the whole world. And I read about the history of Toyota. I did not. They're making before there was actually they make a loom. They make called Toyota egg. Before the Toyota, they make this Toyota egg. They're making this kind of cars. They find one in Siberia, in Russia. Old Toyota. Toyota AC. No, that start as a loom. Looms when you were doing cotton and stuff. No, Toyota Industries, that's still making sewing machines called Toyota Automatic Loom Works. They're making this loom. And then they make a part of this Toyota Automatic Loom Works. They make an automobile part of this company, and make this Toyota AA. And of course 8 is a lucky number in Japan. They select Toyota because it have 8 numbers in the writing, and Toyota have 10. So they make this Toyota. So they still need to make this looms. Loom, that's a loom. Toyota still makes this, and I have opened some because I'm going to read about it. That's old, in old days, that's a loom. So they use it in industry. So let's close this. So they make 300 million automobiles. They did that 2 years and make 10 millions every year. That's Toyota AA, but they make but I think they make Toyota as Toyota Motors. They're making 1937. August 1937 was the Toyota Motors. But before they do Toyota Motors, they make this Toyota AA. And they make this Toyota A engine. But they made other kind of Toyotas. I forgot the name. I have write it down on my paper. It's Toyota Crown. They make this Toyota Crown. Was the first export. The export to North America in 53. The Toyota Crown. This Toyota Crown. The version that export to United States. 58 to 70, and the export to Canada. And in my country, Denmark, they export in 63, the second generation. in 1963 that become Toyota Europe. That start Toyota Europe. It started in Denmark, so that's the first generation Toyota Crown. Actually, it looks very nice. Old classic car. I think many like to collect it. But the second generation looks kind of nice too. Toyota Crown up second generation look little bit like American cars. So that's Toyota Crown second generations 1962. The import to my country Denmark in 63 called Eilers Auto Import, maybe in Copenhagen, and that become he got rights for Denmark, Norway, Sweden. This Eilers Auto Import become to Europe, Toyota Europe, and I think it moved to Belgium. To Europe, Toyota Europe is in Belgium. So that's a nice car. So that's one you can collect. Third generation looks kind of nice too. Still looks a bit American. Fourth generation from the 70s. Look kind of nice too. But the cars in the 1980s, they're not very nice. They're very sharp curves. They're like a Lego. The cars in the 1980s look like a Lego bridge. No, they're very like this. But it kind of look nice, this car. I have it open, no, I don't have it open, we have to read this. Toyota Crown. Let's keep it open. But they make a lot of cars, Toyota. I'm going to look at this later. They make like more than 100 different kind of automobiles. They have a list of Toyota vehicles. The current production, passengers cars. And they have this Lexus brand. They make some long station wagons, so they make a lot of nice cars. SUVs. That's a big one. I've never seen this. But you have more than they have some really nice Lexus minivan. A Lexus minivan, but this looks very nice. So they have an endless number of cars. That's what they are making today. But so that's former production. This Toyota 1000. All this Toyota AA. And the Toyota Crown, of course. Toyota Aygo is out of production. I did not know that. But Toyota is a little bit behind from making electric cars because they make a lot of research in hydrogen cars. They make many thousand patents to make hybrid cars with hydrogen engines, but most of the world just select to do plug-in electric cars. So I have a long list of old models. We're not going to do this. Toyota Crown. So let's close. But I have this. They have this Lexus brand. Toyota Lexus. If I can find the links. Lexus. They have some really nice car. You can find it on YouTube. Search Lexus. Lexus sports car. Now I have this LS Lexus Luxury. So I have this Lexus open. So there's number 2, 3 on the planet. Japan, I think that the automobile production will get up in Japan, but not as fast. The production in India will go much faster. India in few years will make more than 10 million cars, about just this number. They make more cars than the whole United States, because that's 1,400 million people in India. So China number 1, then India, then Japan, I think in 10 years Japan number 3, then United States number 4. But we're going to look at this. Japan, I have to read it later. That's a long read. There's a lot of brands. Mitsubishi. Now that's the automobile production in the whole Japan. All the brands and form of the timeline. You have all this. So, but I start to get time. I'm going to open all these links. But Toyota is the biggest one. But they make 2.7 million. Toyota Suzuki. This Kai cars and Kai trucks. That's some small mini cars they use in Japan in the small narrow streets, because the parking space is very expensive, like in Tokyo and many big cities in Japan. Costs a lot of money to get a private parking. So this parking space costs a lot of money. So we're going to read about Japan. And then we got Jordan. Now I'm start to get tired a bit. Now we have that early evening news, and I don't care.